is it true I can use like the Enneagram to like find boyfriend that kind?
Can.
Can?
Why you every time don't have a opinion one?
It's a scam!
Not a scam.
Hi everybody, today I'm here with Annabelle. She's a financial planner from Maximus and today she brought a very special guest.
Hi everyone. Today I have me Jared. So he's a founder of Mind Evolve, a very good friend of mine. Yeah.
So what is Mind Evolve, is it?
Yeah.
Mind Evolve.
Yes.
Yes, evolution of the mind.
Oh, okay. What do you do inside there?
Okay, so I basically coach and do personal development courses using the Enneagram as a foundation.
What's an Enneagram?
So Enneagram is a framework where you have 9 core motivations,
9?
9 ways
So
of
many.
seeing the world.
Is it like horoscope that kind?
That's a very common question.
Or is it like
It's
the
not.
ENFP, ENFJ?
Okay, so the difference between MBTI and DISC, which is commonly used in the financial sector, and the Enneagram is this. So DISC and MBTI tells you the traits of a person.
Okay.
The Enneagram goes one deeper. We tell you the core motivation of the person.
So is it true I can use like the Enneagram to like find boyfriend that kind?
Can,
Can?
but you need to know yourself first.
Need to what?
You need to know yourself first because every relationship you will
So
have
it's like
issues.
八字.
It's more of getting to know your internal core first before you get to know the other
Okay.
people in your life.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the people you coach are like Belle. Is it?
So I coach quite a few financial planners.
Okay.
A lot of them they do have issues when it comes to getting to know themselves, trying to figure out what their place is
What
in
was
the
your
industry.
issue?
My issue.
Yeah, why you decide to do this?
I think initially the driving mechanism was anxiety. Like
Yeah.
when I first became like a manager, then you don't really know what you want to do. Then like there will be times like the stress gets piled up and then you get anxious.
This thing can solve anxiety.
I
Or
don't.
is it you go into like the...
Okay, so from my perspective, it's more like everyone has different trigger points. So for me, it's a bit of insecurities. Yeah, so then it gets me a little bit like insecure when I don't know things ahead of time, or let's say for example I'm going something unknown. Then like there's that kind of mechanisms. But I think more importantly, it's also a bit of like he says, it goes a lot more in depth because there are more stories to tell independently. That means everyone's environment, family setup, you know, whether you have siblings, no siblings, kind of like upbringing is a bit different. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess before we dive deep into the financial planners and how this helps them, right? Then maybe we can talk about some of the profiles in
Okay.
Enneagrams. Is there a particular profile that a financial planner is more prone to have? Or this profile better to be an agent? This profile cannot be an agent? Is there?
Okay, this is just my personal opinion. I think it's overhyped on certain profiles because I attended certain courses before. So they will tell you the type 3s, you know, the name itself being achievers. So
Type
they,
3.
yeah, type 3s, like are performers and things like that. But that's not to say that every profile cannot perform.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we do have directors who are maybe type 9s, directors who are type 6, directors who are type 5. It can be any profile. Yeah, it's just that there's the science to it, like why certain achievers do perform slightly better than others. Yeah.
Shifu agree?
Okay, so there are a few types that this industry does attract. Type 3s, type 7s, type 8s.
3,
So-
7, and 8.
These are your assertive types, the go-getter types, the
The very dominant.
the very
type.
direct types, right?
okay.
But I say this during the trainings that I have. This industry is built on security. So actually there are a lot of sixes as well. Because sixes is about stability. So it's built for a 6, but it's driven like it's more competitive because of the way that it's structured. So that's why you're attracting a few types. I actually had a conversation just now, right? It's not which type you are, it's whether or not you can utilize your strengths and your weaknesses along the way. Can you identify the trigger points that your conditioning has given you?
So is it safe
yeah.
to say like my boss should be the 3, 7, 8, and then the below should be a 6. Because they give like a lot of assurance to the customers, the clients, but then the boss needs to be someone who drives the team. Is that?
Okay, for me, right, it's not like, oh, today I'm a type 6, then I'm a 6. Yeah, you will have also your like core strength in other types. It's not like, oh, my profile 6, I don't have 3, I don't have 7, I don't have 8. Yeah. So it's just where the core strength is, and then where your like positive and negatives are in different. So all of us actually have the 9 types.
Oh, so one person has 9 characters in them.
Yeah.
So is it correct to say like, is which one stronger in you? Then that's your main type.
Okay, so let me interject.
Yes.
There is actually, the way you look at it is your core type you're born with. That will be the strongest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay? Then the wings will be beside it. So you actually look at like type 3s, right? The wings will be 2 and 4.
Wings.
That helps you support the type. It stabilizes the type.
Okay,
Right?
okay.
But that doesn't mean that we cannot learn from the other types. But your core type will not change regardless. So it's very much like what Belle said, right? If I wake up as a 6, I'm not going to go to sleep, come back, I become an 8 the next morning.
Yeah.
It's learnt, conditioned. So we all have one core type we are born with, but we can learn the traits and strengths from the other 8 types that we have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I pick up. So that means if I know I have these other 8, then I want to focus on the good ones. Then I will try to prevent the negative ones from coming out.
Each type has their positive and negative. So it really depends when you're stressed and when you're healthy. So it's about knowledge of yourself. It's about self-awareness more than anything else.
How long do you take to learn this whole thing? This sounds very, very long. Sounds like a few years.
I was a bit crazy. So I started 2021.
So you
during
studied
COVID.
for 2 years?
Lockdown.
2 years.
So during COVID lockdown, I went for my first Enneagram course. But prior to that, I already had a lot of experience with counseling and therapy for myself. So I started during lockdown, 2021, because nothing to do. Prior to that, I already had experience with therapy and counseling because of my own issues. So I started out, my first client is, I started out with my first client with that's me, right?
Oh, okay.
But when I learned the Enneagram system, I got into the level 2 course as well. I was offered a job after that. So I became a trainer and a coach with my previous company.
Nice.
Studied for 2 years, but what I did was for that 2 years, every day I would listen to a podcast. Like this.
An Enneagram podcast.
Every day. And I would try
Do
out.
different teachers teach different things, or mostly it's the same?
Okay, let me put it to you this way. Every PowerPoint is the same. It's how you deliver the PowerPoint. So the main person that delivers the PowerPoint must know themselves quite well. So you will find that there are some Enneagram trainers who may not know themselves as well as the others. It will be quite apparent as they come out and say certain things. So it's not just about knowledge, it's about knowledge applied.
Okay.
So I can get all the knowledge in, right? But if I don't know myself, it's just throwing the knowledge into a black hole. So basically, it's where I learned it, I applied it, I asked the questions, I moved on from it because it didn't work, or I stuck with it because it worked. So it's a 2-year, 3-year process already as we go.
So how long are you now? How long in are you now?
Actually, I think not very long after he did this, then I started dating. I think maybe after he completed the course law with the school. But I think it's quite similar to financial planning if you ask me. Because it's
Like
like
how?
what he said. You can know all the technicals, you can pass all the like important exams, right? But how you apply it to clients also differs, right? Like it doesn't mean that you all have all the set skills of investing or financial knowledge. Doesn't mean that when it comes to clients, you know how to handle a client. Yeah, so I think it's actually quite similar in terms of like managing people.
So you kind of have to like profile your clients beforehand, or so it's very funny, right? Imagine if I'm your client, then you're like, hey, can you do an Enneagram test for me now?
Oh, I did it
Oh my God.
initially when we first did the class. So they will tell you, okay, we have this set of cards for you. So like, okay, you go home and try on people lah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like a game. Then like then you narrow down your cards into 3 piles. So definitely not like you, somewhat like you, and very like you.
Okay.
So 3 categories, and then you are taught to ask questions and all that. And I must say, if you know your client long enough, the card that they pick, you will know that is their profile. But you need to know the client long enough lah. It's not like I meet you immediately, I know your type. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, a new client, you just give them a test.
No lah, it's for fun. It's for fun.
If you're not good, then I don't want to be your. If not good, I don't want to be your financial planner.
Yeah. So there's a game part to it. Like they teach you how to engage your friends. So I did it right. Like after class, then I went to a housewarming. Then I was like, oh, okay guys, I've got this thing I want you all to try. Then like a game thing lah. Yeah. So it's quite fun.
Very accurate? Did all of them find it very accurate?
For 1 or 2 friends, I found it a bit like a bit shocking. Like I didn't think
maybe
that they
you
would be
don't
their
know their
profiles.
core,
Yes.
correct?
The rest of them were quite accurate. Yeah. The 1 or 2 is like, okay, that's the card they pick. Yeah.
In personality tools, whatever personality tool is, the journey is more important than actually finding what the destination is.
So can I ask, if let's say I am to embark on this journey with you, what do I do? What do I get? Like if I go to your class, then what will you provide? Or like how many lessons is it? Or like, what am I supposed to expect? Because I don't know anything.
Okay, so basically for me, I don't do the tests.
Okay.
For other companies, they do the tests. For me, the 2-day course that you come with me to get to know yourself, I will teach you your core types, right? I will teach you what the strengths and weaknesses are. I will then get you to do a self-discovery template. So I will do a timeline exercise with you, and then we will do a rounding up at the end. There will be role plays in between. So in between, when you are finding out where your past and present is, doing the role play of each type, and coming to the end where you have to write your biography as the type, right? You kind of would land between 1 or 2 types.
All this in 2 days?
All this in 2 days.
Huh.
So the 2-day course is actually the test.
Oh.
So it depends on how open you are.
I discover myself in the 2 days. You take 2 days for you to discover yourself with him. Or you're still discovering yourself.
We did things very differently.
Yeah, when we first got to know
Yeah.
each other, it's a little bit different. So there was like a bit more efficient then. That means like really there's 100 questions, then you fill out the questions, then they just decipher. But of course they still don't tell you your results, so you wouldn't know. Like there's no answers to it. Only at the end of the 3 days, then you will get that report. So during the in-between is still also discovering what your colleagues are in the room, the different types. Yeah.
So far, what have you found that financial planners need from this Enneagram profiling course? Like what is their main concerns and everything?
So when I coach financial planners, it's 2 things: productivity and identity.
Why need to know their identity?
Why I need to know the identity is because every agency or every insurance group that there is, right, the products don't differ. It's not different. What differ is the agent.
Okay.
So
Makes sense, yeah.
when you sell to somebody else, I don't even want to use the word sell. When you help someone buy an insurance and you provide that service, it is a service, right? Clients nowadays are very good at sniffing out the salesperson. They want someone to serve. They want someone to be there for them. They want someone to be serving them in the way that they want to be served. So in order for me to serve another person, I need to be able to figure out who I am first. So a lot of them don't know who they are and what they bring to the table in terms of their service. And then they get lost, or they can't get conversions. And that's quite difficult for them, because you come in, you want to get conversions, but it's not coming enough, right? So the main thing that I need to get out of the way for them is the identity part. Who are you, and why should people trust you? What do you bring to the table at the end of it? So identity is very important, because each one of the insurance agents, like the PowerPoint slides that I told you about, they will deal with the financial products in a very different way. They will service the person in a very different way.
But okay, I understand that. I think that's quite interesting. But the thing is, if let's say I have a client that is I don't know the person's type also, but I feel like I will service the client in a very different way from maybe her.
Yeah.
Right? Then but what if the client is not the type that likes me to service him or her in that way, the way that I service? Maybe the person prefer Bell.
Yeah.
Like how will I be able to tell them?
Okay, so if I know who I am and I'm very clear about my identity, right, I have no problem shifting the client to Bell.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like I don't agree with this. That maybe I get.
No,
somebody
I'm not
else.
the right fit.
I'm
So
not the right
basically, I'm
fit.
not the right fit.
Okay.
I don't have to be the right fit for everyone.
Ah, that's very interesting. Is this how it's like?
I think for us, it's highly relevant, especially if we are taking like recruiting bankers or other insurance type agencies, right? So a lot of them can come with baggage. And by baggage, I mean like maybe disappointments from their previous agency or workplace, or like office politics, or basically anything negative lah. That's the pushing mechanism to leave a company, right? So when they come over, there's always this issue of course they hope that this place is for better, okay? But yet at the end of the day, there's also one part of it is their stories to tell. So what are actually their main triggers? So everyone leaves a company for a different reason, but what's the reason? So when you're getting someone to join you and it's to a team that's already there, let's say there's already 70 of us, right? Every new person that comes in also needs to understand the culture. Yeah, so that's why he said the identity of that person is also as important for both the managers, directors, or if not the colleagues, to actually understand a bit better. Yeah, if not, it will just repeat the same mistakes that you have had triggered previously in a old environment.
Okay, so I guess this leads a lot to mentoring and managing your team members. You are a team leader, right?
Yeah.
You are a team leader. So how do you use this Enneagram profiling framework to help you and also to help your team members? How does it come into play?
Okay, so I think for me is first, because it comes with a lot of the good parts. So they have a lot of strengths of different advisors. So you first have to recognize that their strengths and then how to play it to their strength. Okay, so I give you an example. Like the Type 9s have very, very sweet personalities. So like very good PRs, lovable people. They're very good at attracting like friends. Clients love them. If not, they're very, very good at understanding and listening to problems. Okay? But on the other side of the pitfalls is if they have more negatives within them, right? They also have a tendency to not be able to make decisions, or, for example, not doing anything lah. Yeah, not reacting. So they sit on the fence. So they sometimes can take long. Okay, in other words, yeah, if you think about it, you may look at them as people pleasers. I used to think that way as well. But I think if you can understand their core, right, really is about the other person and how they feel. To me, I no longer look at them as people pleasers lah. Yeah.
Okay.
But then it also comes with the shortfalls, which is then, they're a bit slower. They don't really, they sit on the fence. They don't really decide on things. So if you ask them what you want to eat, anything lor. So if you're okay with the anything and then you take the lead, that's okay. But if it's like, why you every time don't have a opinion one, then you get triggered lah. So if you understand where they come from with
You
anything,
can help them.
yeah, and then anything really isn't about trying to please you. It's really like whatever you feel like eating is more important than
Then what I feel
Yes.
like what I want to have. Oh, okay, very interesting.
So if you look at the Type 9s, right, the need for them is to avoid conflict. So does that make more sense already if I say that they need to avoid conflict, therefore anything? You decide. Because if I say something, I might get into a conflict with you.
Are these people suitable to be financial planners?
I have met a Type 9 very successful agency leader.
Oh, so leader. Is it because they're peace loving?
No, so Type 9s are very good as leaders. They're very good at collaboration. So it's collaboration more than anything else. That's where they go to. But the 9 leader needs to then have their say. They cannot have anything as a vocabulary anymore. They need to learn more from the Type 8s, which is the need to control, right? I need to control my environment and therefore I'm very assertive. So they need to learn from that, and that's a wing. So that's how you use the wing. Because they learn from that.
Would it be very chaotic if the whole team was like all different types of people?
I always thought so. But then I realized that lately when I was looking at my team dynamics, I was like, wow, if everybody is Type 6 like me, easy lah. Like easier to manage, right? Because similar wavelength, similar thought process, similar work styles. But then because of the Type 9s especially, when you have other profiles around, actually they're very good blenders. So they help you manage the dynamics of the team. Yeah, so then there's actually less conflict also within the team. Because if imagine everyone's a type 8 or a very like argumentative or very like challenging kind of personality, right? Then everybody will be wanting to talk at the same time.
Yeah.
So if you have all the same profiles, then it's also going to be
A headache also.
a headache because there's just too much of something. So the diversity is actually interesting if there is like, you know, good in everyone. So the nines will definitely help you in managing a lot of the conflicts that may arise in a meeting or discussion. Yeah, and then they're very like nice people, right? So when you're going for like a holiday together, a trip together, or even like dinner, it's not so chaotic.
You just chill with them and
Yeah.
everything.
So they bring down the pace lah if there's any aggression in the room or like unhappiness. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so like in the industry, right, I've always heard like, oh, extroverts do better in the financial industry. Is it true?
You want to ask him first?
You are the financial planner. leh.
What he thinks lah.
Okay, what do you
Does
think?
he want an
Agree
outsider,
first. Yeah, I want
outsider view?
thing first. Then I will
Just
tell you
saying,
my
this is-
argument.
This is a stigma that I've heard. Like, wow, you because I'm quite extroverted. So that people
That's
don't-
quite interesting why you say the word stigma though.
Because I feel that everybody can be. But a lot of people tell me, say, hey, you're extrovert, you should do like this type of sales, you should do that. I'm like, but I don't like leh.
Okay. So extroversion and introversion are traits. You learn it, right? So, however, type 7s on the Enneagram are easily more extroverted than anybody else. But each type, even type 7s who are easily more extroverted, they have introverted types of that kind, that Enneagram type. So, extroversion and introversion are traits. So, extroverted people, because they like to meet people, because they talk and they get energy from the group, tend to do better at the beginning. But introverts, because we get... so I'm actually a functional extrovert.
What's a functional extrovert?
That means I'm extroverted for my job.
Yeah.
As a person, I am heavily introverted.
So you just stay at home in your shell
Yes.
under your blanket and watch Netflix.
So nobody sees me until the next day. That kind of thing.
Wow, okay. Cannot tell
Yeah. So it's functional.
It's a scam.
It's not a scam. It's who I am. It's just different parts of who I am. Anyway, so introverts tend to do better long run because they learn the systems. They go back and think. They speak to people one-on-one. There's more of a connection there.
Think
So it's
introverts
sustainability.
listen. So people like when they listen.
Introverts tend to be a little bit more careful about how we spend our energy.
Okay.
It's not that we're selfish or more extroverts are more selfish. It's how we spend our energy. Extroverts gain energy from people. We need to give out our energy,
okay.
but we gain energy on our own. And it's those times that we spend on our own actually. Then we start thinking about processes. We start thinking about products. We start thinking about knowledge. We start thinking about, and that actually helps support what they need to do when they go out and do their work. Extroverts need to actually learn how to use that energy
From other people.
learn the sales. They're naturally very good at the talking and sales part, but they need to learn the introversion part, where they need to go and
harder.
to sit still and think through things.
Yeah, I find
Yeah.
it very hard. Are you very drained from me?
No.
No, but it depends, I think. So, I've got one interview questions I always ask because it's a normal question that any candidate that sits in front of me will ask. I don't think I'm very suitable because I'm not very extroverted.
Yeah, that's what I hear all the time.
This is my usual question. If I'm very introverted, I don't think I'm very suitable. That's what they all say. So the first question I always have is, do I look extroverted or introverted? That's my first question for them. Then my second question is, okay, now with 100,000 on the table, okay, this is your lifetime savings, and you're going to invest it with two different personalities. You've got option A, the life of the party. So think of the friend that is the most chirpy, party animal, very friendly, easy to make friends, kind of person. Okay. Option B, you have your trustworthy, stable, like to read a lot kind of friend. Where will you put your 100,000? And with which personality lah? 9 out of 10 will always choose the more trustworthy.
Even I will choose the most trustworthy
Yeah.
one.
So you will and I'm realizing that actually introverts will win the game in the longer haul because a lot of the sales skills and everything can be trained. Yeah, the listening skills, the knowledge and all that comes naturally for them.
Oh.
Yeah, whereas the extroverts have to tune it down a lot more. Yeah. So if you ask me, I think like at least in our agency, a lot of us are more introverted. Yeah.
I cannot tell. Every time I see people from Maximus, they very high energy.
Oh, yeah, when it comes to
one,
playing only. But then like everything else like very, very chill.
I just like to add something about trustworthiness. Trustworthiness has nothing to do with extroversion and introversion. It's the person. How they were brought up. Right? So that's where if people use just the traits and Enneagram as it is to put people in a box, you will lose the whole person. Because you realize, right, because you thought I was extroverted, or you've seen Maximus people, they are extroverted, but they're not. So that's something that we need to look at as well, because it's about the person rather than the type.
In terms of mentoring, I think both of y'all have very... You're a team leader, you coach people, right? What's so important about mentorship, in your opinion? You're both leaders.
I think for me, it's because we often misunderstand the sales environment. So everyone thinks that just by doing very well in your sales, that makes you a very good advisor, consultant, or a team member. But in reality, there is much more to a person than just KPIs. So the team dynamics is actually a very important factor. Assuming, let's say, we want to run a project or we want to run a client appreciation event, right? It's never alone. There's always a participation of the other consultants and their clients. So there's also a lot of people and different profiles. So like your kind of clients may not be my kind of clients. But if we're all combining everything together, then there has to be some camaraderie between us lah, if you ask me. Yeah. So understanding a person's type is also to prevent conflict if we don't agree, let's say in projects or like in work that we do. Yeah. Or not get triggered lah. Because if not, there's always a lot of, sometimes in office that people will say, oh, there's backstabbing and things like that. Or office politics, unhappiness, people don't tell you straight in your face kind of thing, right? Yeah, because there's a lot of misunderstanding on the ground. So with Enneagram, when you actually understand the different personalities, you tend to be a bit more accepting and understanding because you know why they behave in a certain way, and that in the team at least, there's common understanding that everyone is trying to be better self. Yeah.
But is that within the context of your industry?
No. So, I mean, it depends on whether they go to guys like y'all for coaching and all that lah. So, like, there will always be problem. Like, I mean, you coach a lot of other advisors, not even just within Maximus. So, I'm pretty sure it depends on the leadership as well as the culture. So, at least for Jason over here, right, our entire Maximus, we pro Enneagram. Like, is to, even onboarding lah. Let's say, for example, a new candidate, we do take a look at their scores and things like that because we want to know if this candidate can, blend with the team, in terms of the culture lah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for coaching it's very different because
it's a bit
coaching
different.
is I ask you the questions, you get there yourself.
But you do mentor your students also, no?
Mentoring is different. So mentoring, I need to have subject matter expert in the industry. Usually, mentors need that, right? Because if not, what am I mentoring you in? And there needs to be a track record for the mentor. For coaches, we don't need the track record. It's the questions that we ask. So my track record is whether they get a breakthrough from the questions that I ask and the framework that we both agree that the coaching agreement is on. So coaching is more long term.
Okay.
And it's less solution based. For me, it's more solution based on their side.
Yeah, it's a more discovery process for them because ours more work, maybe a bit more direct and faster pace. For him, it's really like asking you to discover about yourself, your own desires and mechanics. Yeah, but for mentor, it's a bit different. We need to ask you to set goals and then like give you solutions and then like direction. Yeah, it's not so like long, very, very long term. Yeah, because it's more work specific lah.
Yeah. So this is a real case study that I had. One of the financial consultants came up to me and said, I want to talk about productivity this session. I said, okay. So what kind of questions would you ask if someone says, I'm coming for you for a productivity issue. I cannot close client of a certain kind. That was his issue. So I flipped it. I actually asked him, give me the traits of the clients that you cannot close. So he gave me the traits. He wrote it down. I said, okay, where else in your personal life do these traits occur in groups of people that you know.
Oh my God,
So he
this is
says groups of
trauma.
friends and my current girlfriend at that point in time.
Oh my God, it's
So he wrote it
trauma.
down, right? Before I can say anything, he said, actually my father also like that. So his was a mental block because of the way that he grew up with his father. And it's not clearly a productivity issue because I cannot get him to set a timeline if he doesn't know what his block is.
Okay,
So that's
okay.
coaching. But for mentoring, right, it's timeline. This is how much you have. This is where you go. And then if there are any emotional side that we need to handle, we will handle it along the way.
So which is also why, right, sometimes there's like mid-career crisis lah, quarter life crisis. I have like, people telling me this. So it's also possible, like you go through life not even knowing your identity, or like you just basically follow what your parents want you to do or your friends expect of you, things like that.
But generally, if I do what I want to do, then it's really my call lah.
If you've always been living up to what you like, yeah,
Then I'm like very happy like that.
yeah, then essentially we roughly have
We roughly can guess.
indicators of
Yeah.
your type really. Yeah.
But then you'll be
really?
base type.
Yeah.
So there's no
Base.
evolution.
I want this to end because I want to ask y'all what's my type. I'm just joking.
What I tell new clients, especially for when they are in the financial industry, is there were a few bad hats at the very beginning of the industry times, right? That has resulted in a very negative view of what financial consultancy is. That's why I asked them to serve according to the needs of the other person, right?
Okay.
Because this small group that actually didn't follow what the industry wanted has made the public a little bit more, view them a little bit more negatively. But that's not the case because I've met very good financial consultants, very willing to help, very willing to go the extra mile. So I would always then suggest to them, right, to serve first. And I use the framework of intention to, what's your intention? So intentions drive actions. I always say intentions drive actions. So if I go in to sell, my actions are very different.
Okay.
But if I go in to serve you, my serving you will actually get you to connect with me, right? And then after that, all I need to do is I ask you for a closing. Based on what you believe.
That's a very long process, no?
Some people have done it in such a way that they can close within one. They have practiced, right? Some people have need a longer period of time. Like the type 9s that we're talking about, right? Because
Like
they
on
do
the
avoid
fence
conflict,
one,
they
then
need
they
about
do
2 or
it
3
longer.
days.
Yeah,
2 or
longer.
3 days or 2 or 3 appointments to
Yeah,
do it,
yeah.
right? Generally. For me, for the type 2s, the need to be needed by other people, I think your people pleasers at the core. They need generally about 1 or 2 days to, but they can figure out who the other person is because they are very sensitive to the needs of the other person. So it depends. So yes, the public does view financial consultants in a certain way, but I really don't think it's fair to the rest of the industry because they are good people, more good people than they are bad sheep in the
That's
industry.
very nice to hear, actually.
Every industry will have bad sheep. It's just a matter of where you are.
True.
So it's just part and parcel of where you.
I think it's good to have like different types. So like why you can see fun, right? Because if I were to think about it in my head, like why is when we have like yacht parties or like if we go overseas we go clubbing or like let's say for example karaoke, stuff like that. It's fun really because there are certain types around to really, really liven everything. So like I think in our agency the culture it's not just sharing but like understanding. So Jason advocates lah, like not the everybody you type 6 then you only recruit type 6. Yeah, to him he really, really tells me all the time that all the different types actually will be very good in supporting the dynamics of your team. So that's something he really like. There's a role for everyone to play within Maximus, be it whether you're like a type 2, a type 3 or type 4.
So everybody in Maximus got free access to both of you or not? And your skill set and everything.
Then why not you ask him, okay? What
have
else we
lah,
do?
have lah.
We got
Come.
tests, got like some coaching lah, and then got courses lah. Yeah.
Come join Maximus, learn about your identity, learn how to be a very good financial planner, okay? Like I think there should be a difference between Maximus and a lot of other companies out there. I wouldn't want to say
particular companies, but because
yeah, of course.
because I know there are so many agents that leave previous companies, right, and they're like very upset. But I realized they all join here,
Yeah.
and then they like, whoo, yeah. So
Because we do place a lot of emphasis on them. Not just them as like salespeople or producers, but rather them as individuals, like why they are leaving their previous place and what they are seeking here.
what they're lacking, then you feel that.
Yeah, but also what they want. That means they're like what they are seeking. Like some of them are growth, right?
Yeah,
like
growth.
in certain areas, like want to be more motivating, some want to become better leaders. There will always be a push button. Yeah, so we're more focused on that rather than their deliverables. Lor.
Is the whole Maximus very hungry?
I would say it rubs off quite well. So we have quite a number of type 3s that help us with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it helps me as well also. So like, because they are very driven, hungry individuals, right? That rub off is actually very good because it reminds you that you need to also be this positive and this fast. Yeah.
Will
so
it be
helps.
will there be a negative rub off, like, you know, like, wow, she do better than me, and jealous, that kind?
I think in any environment surely have, but I think in our place is slightly less, unless their personalities are a bit more low self-esteem, I think. Or like they will get triggered by stress lah, then maybe yes.
Makes sense.
But if not, majority do see it as a positive thing.
Like a push.
Yeah, because they understand that these are also very important traits that make people very successful. That they want to desire, like, you know, it's a strive to become.
Okay.
Yeah, rather than wow, they are like that, then no. Yeah, it's
True.
more like attraction rather than repelling.
Very nice culture, very nice culture.
Yeah, so to answer your question, right? They have access to me if they really want to know themselves a little bit better. Okay, sure. Right. So we can always take that offline. If anyone who decides that this person is with them, then
Yeah,
they can
you
go
got-
through
you got
well,
like-
they can
like-
call me.
Or like you
straight
got
away.
Yeah.
Instagram lah. Everything I also
Yeah,
Instagram
okay,
these
we'll
days.
put all the Instagram the thing. You want to contact him to learn more about your inner self, bring some crystals along to your like session. You can go and
Then I'll put the crystals at the side.
Yeah, so basically Gerald, right? Gerald does Enneagram profiling, and she's a financial planner. So if you're interested in these two industries, feel free to contact them. We will leave their contact in the description below or in the comments or somewhere. Okay, any last words you all want to say?
No. all
No?
good.
Wow,
gonna
this
tell
is
you
what
your type
kind of
later.
type. Yeah, I want to tell my type.
She very interested already.
Okay, we hope you enjoy this talk, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.